Hi guys, this is Lada from astrolada.com with your weekly horoscope for the 8th till the 14th of April. That's my birthday on the 14th, and I'm gonna have a surprise for you guys. There will be a free webinar on an amazing topic, how to get a marriage proposal. I'll announce it on Sunday on the 7th, but stay tuned to have the link because we're bringing in one of the best experts in the world that I personally know about relationships, therapist, PhD, and all of that. So she's my favorite. But anyway, this week is very interesting. The 7th till the 14th, the 8th till the 14th, because the moon is already growing. And we have, for the first time in years, unprecedented number of planets in their own signs or exaltation signs. On Sunday, Monday, actually, and then towards the 11th, 12th, we have 5 planets in their own signs or exaltation signs. This is so rare. I mean, the ancient Vedic book says that when planets are 4 or more planets in their own sign or exaltation sign, that avatars are born, like Krishna, or like, exalted beings, or beings that bring some amazing knowledge and that are high in their evolution, that give the best of themselves, because the planet in exaltation or its own sign gives the best, and because this is aligning for all of us. Not all of us will be giving birth to babies, but if you are, well, might be a very special baby, but we'll be giving birth to actions, to ideas, maybe the birth of new relationships, the birth of new projects, the start, and all those things that you start initiating when the moon is already growing, and when 4 planets, and that starts from Monday, and it continues for 2 weeks ahead. And especially on Sunday, actually the 7th, and Monday, when the moon is in Taurus, a fantastic time for that, because we have a planet in a fixed sign. It will give stability. Moon is exalted. 4 planets more are exalted or in their own sign. So if you have something new, even if you can't do it Sunday or Monday, throughout the week, it's good, especially on the 14th, because then the sun is trine with Jupiter and the moon is trine with the sun and Jupiter. So the 14th is fantastic, and the 7th and 8th of April are fantastic for new beginnings. Even the 13th, the 14th, so the 7th, the 8th, the 13th, and the 14th. And when the moon is in Cancer is also a good time, but it will make some square aspects with Pluto, with the sun. So that would be the 12th, the 11th, and the 12th. We have 5 planets in their own signs or exalted, but because the moon has some difficult aspects, if you're starting something important, then there'll be just a bit more obstacles to overcome, or a bit more frustrations, or a bit more of a delay, but the ultimate result will be fantastic again. So the week is a bit challenging in some respects, because the sun is making square with Saturn, they're clashing, and square with Pluto, and Venus and Mercury are making squares with Jupiter. So there is some tensions. But despite of those tensions, the week completes in a very positive way, because it starts with some difficult aspects between the sun and Saturn. The week starts, so you can have some push and pull, some obstacles to overcome. Especially the sun is in Aries. You want to start something new. Saturn is in Capricorn, but you have to take into consideration some rules, some bureaucratic, kind of hoops that you have to jump. Saturn is rules, and Capricorn is institutions, or bosses, or authority figures, so people that or situations, or people that are more conservative, that require going by the book, while Sun in Aries wants to create something unique, wants to be independent, wants to push forward, is free thinking, forward looking. So they can be clash this week, especially the start of this week, between such kind of more inspired actions. I want to do it now and go forward, and new ideas, and people that are free thinking and forward looking, and people that are more traditional, or if it's not other people that this opposition is coming from, it's gonna be that you have to consider both. You have to start something new, but you have to work hard and follow the rules as well, which is Saturn in Capricorn that the sun is squaring this week. So yes, go forward, start new beginnings, but remember that you have to honor Saturn as well. And remember that the start of the week might be a bit more difficult than Actually, but it ends very good. On Sunday, and the Sunday, Monday after that, so the 14th, the 15th of April, the sun comes to a trine with Jupiter. I have here a chart, so the sun starts with the square aspect, which is a bit difficult, to Saturn and to the south node and to Pluto. And that's the beginning of the week. And then when we come to Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, the week after that, on the 15th, the sun goes and does a trine to Jupiter, which is the 120 degrees, which is much better aspect. So it starts with the need for you to put more effort, to push through some obstacles, to honor some authority figures, or you might be the one who is the authority figure, so you need to kind of honor the new ideas that are coming, even though they will vex you, they might frustrate you, they will have to push you out of your comfort zone if you're more the traditional person that has their system and a way to do things in a consistent way, which is the Saturnian energy. But then something requires from you a new person or a person or a situation to introduce something new and to do it in a more innovative, in a more original way, which is the sun in Aries, or to come out of your comfort zone, and take a risk, the sun in Aries. Or you might be in both situations. In one situation, you're the Saturn person that wants to, you want to do things in a certain way that you're known and it works, but you have to incorporate something new, and that gives you this tension the start of the week. And at the same time, you might be also that you want to do something new as well in a different area, or in the same area, but you need to keep rules and to follow regulations and to get pressure from some authority figures, or jump some hoops with institutions, or get some criticism, because Saturn square Sun indicates that either you're being very hard on yourself this week, or someone else with more authority or more knowledge that is being kind of, this is not good, fix it, I don't like it, So you and you might do this to another person, because you might be in the role of Saturn. So you might be like, okay, you done this new thing, but I don't like it. You brought this new idea, redo it again. We need to adjust it. And of course, the square aspect is about action. So it pushes us, this dissatisfaction or stress that comes initially, or frustration, pushes us to change something. And because the planets, the sun and Saturn, are in cardinal signs is something new, change something, move something, make a dynamic change. But this dynamic change is triggered by some frustration, So, be prepared to be a bit more flexible at the start of the week, because there will be clash of egos. Both the sun and Saturn represents authority figures. One are such that want to do everything alone. Others are such that want to follow their own rules. The sun is follow their own rules, Saturn is follow regulations. So you might have this inner push and pull within you, or from outside sources. And be ready that you have to work a bit harder, that there will be some more, responsibilities and duties and obstacles to overcome the start of the week. And then the sun squares Pluto towards Friday and Saturday, but I'm talking the whole week, you'll feel that. And there can be some power struggles again with more authority people or older people. If you're the older person, you want to control the situation, but but it's kind of coming out, there's force and power through the sun that is pushing you to create some clash, But at the same time, it allows this dynamic aspect, the square can push the person to get a lot of work done, to change things a lot. And don't forget that Pluto, the South Node, and Saturn are conjunct currently. The whole April they're conjunct. And the Sun triggers this week that conjunction with a square aspect, so a very dynamic aspect. So it kicks us into action to start those changes that I talked about. Actually, before the new moon, we were expelling and releasing on a psychological level some kind of outdated patterns. Maybe this process has started a month ago already, But now the new moon is growing, and the Sun during this growing moon this week is triggering the Saturn-Pluto South Node conjunction, which is all about letting go, releasing structures. Watch out my April videos, guys, to see how the Saturn-Pluto South Node conjunction, the monthly ones, will influence each of you individually, what house it is going to be for. For example, for Aries is the 10th house, career, responsibilities, duties. They're changing everything there. They're shuffling, they're releasing old structures, preparing new ones, rebuilding, tearing down old structures, creating new ones, For every person is in a different area of life. Check it out from the April videos. Check for your ascendant, sun, or moon. But this conjunction is getting triggered by the sun now on a growing moon. So now, till now was the moon that was decreasing, and sorry, Mercury is still conjunct Neptune while I'm doing this video. And I'm a bit dyslexic, to be honest, and I'm kind of, my head is foggy. You should have seen my look before that. I was like zoned out for 20 minutes. But yeah, and Mercury continues to be in Pisces this next week, so, and it's gonna square Jupiter, so we can still make some mistakes and omissions and miss the details, because Mercury, the planner and the mind, is focused on the big things rather than on the small things. So be careful when it comes to planning and organizing next week, especially towards the end of the week when Mercury squares Jupiter from Pisces, because we can miss things. We can be over optimistic with planning, but things turn out not exactly as we expected, but it's nothing too bad. But coming back to, I forgot what I was talking about before that. You see Mercury conjunct Neptune. It's like chaotic thinking. Jeez. Sun square Pluto, we talked about that. Oh yes, the Saturn Pluto South Node conjunction, that the sun triggers it. So it becomes super active now that the sun triggers it this week. So those kind of tearing down and starting to rebuild new foundations or new things in your life in regards to where the Saturn South Node Pluto is happening will be strongly activated this week. So a week of big changes, guys. As I said, starts with maybe a bit of a crisis with the sun square Saturn and Pluto, but ends up with the sun trine Jupiter, which is fantastic. It's one of the best aspects that can happen. Actually, some of the hardest aspects possible are happening this week, and some of the best. The hardest is sun square Saturn. The most beautiful aspect is sun trine Jupiter. And we have both, but the good thing is it starts with the hard one and it continues to the good one. So we start with a bit of frustration, maybe some crisis, maybe something, extra responsibilities and duties having to reconcile, to adjust, and remember to something you're dissatisfied with, you start taking it apart and you start changing things. It pushes you into action to change things, the square aspect. And those actions, though, they give great results. By the end of the week and the start of next one, you'll be like, either an opportunity will appear, Jupiter, for a new idea. Jupiter is in Sagittarius, that brings out new ideas, new solutions, new opportunities, and doors start opening much easier. Or if there was some complication, it gets resolved. You find the creative solution to it, you find the original solution, or you receive a help from someone, from a benefactor, or the hard work that you did and the adjustments and the changes that you did that were triggered by the sun square Saturn and Pluto, they start giving good results towards the end of the week and start aligning really well. So despite of some of the difficulties that are going to happen this week, the final results will be very good. And not only that, but the sun is exalted. I'm going to put a star to each strong planet. Venus is exalted. Saturn is in its own sign. Jupiter is in its own sign. I mean, wow, so rare. I mean, despite of the stresses, those stresses push us, and they will provoke from us the best possible actions, because Saturn is acting to preserve the interests of the established, of the structures. Saturn tries, yes, there are distractions about structures, but Saturn is willing to build stronger ones and more, more stable ones. The sun acts to the best of its ability to create new ideas, to create new initiatives, to be original, to be inventive, which is Aries. Jupiter acts with the best ideas to give the best support, the best inspiration and belief and faith and luck, aligning things. So despite of the complications and obstacles that we might first experience, or some stresses, this hard aspect, you'll be experiencing like some external or internal stresses that you have, that will push you towards something, But what they push you towards is very good, and you deliver to the best of your ability, because the planets are exalted or in their own signs, and they give very good results eventually. So hopefully that, it's dynamic week. I like such weeks. Usually if there's just hard aspects with no positive ones saving the situation, it's like frustration and and no culmination. But these are alchemical combinations. Like esoteric astrology speaks that when there is a hard aspect and a positive aspect towards those hard aspects following on before that, at the same time, there is the ability and help is given to the human being, and the human mind finds obstacle, problem, solution. So we alchemically, or frustration, anger, ability to get out of it and gracefully, instead of just leave one big shit there of reactions or whatever. So we have this door out, we have this support, and such weeks are so fantastic. Weeks only with positive aspects are a bit boring. They're a bit, things flow according to expectations, and but what I really like when we really grow and when something interesting happens in our lives is when there is activation of difficult aspects and difficult transits and help with positive aspects. That is what is happening. First the difficult ones, then the positive ones. So there is challenge and solution. There is challenge that pushes us out of our comfort zone, helps us grow, and then we have a completion and support, and in regards to that. And the same is happening with Venus and Mercury. So Venus is making conjunction to Neptune. So interestingly enough, first Sun square Saturn, there's like a lot of discipline going on around this week, especially the start of the week, and kind of austerities and people being like more focused on work. But there is a simultaneous aspect that is all about Bohemian and taking the easy way out. Venus conjunct Neptune, and towards the end of the week square Jupiter as well. Taking it easy and relaxing and escaping and choosing the easy way out. So how I see this. So some of you will have more of the Venusian, Neptunian escape, especially if you're Pisces, if you're kind of Sagittarius, if you're the mutable signs. But everyone feels this. So what I see is that there will be two themes going on. One is, problem solution and discipline, the Sun square Saturn, and fixing things and working hard to change something, being serious in your mind, even feeling some dissatisfaction, so you have to improve and change things, but serious head on your mind. And then the other one is this Venus conjunct Neptune. Once you get finished at the end of the day the serious work, you might be able to escape into some kind of pleasure, in some kind of escapism, there'll be something to feed your soul, let's say, because Pisces is like spiritually feeding soul. Venus is exalted in Pisces, and it might be for some of you like a good movie. For some of you might be just pleasant, very very refined food that gives you this pleasure. For another might be great guilty pleasure that they indulge in. For another might be a fantastic party or great kind of imaginative state, or even good dreams that are happening in some level that are giving you this respite from the bit more serious Saturn square Sun. Or it might be like a good date, Venus conjunct Neptune, like feeling in love, or feeling romantically inclined, or feeling more artistic. So there's this gentle undertone on the background of this a bit more austere start of the week. And there is this gentle romantic escapism, indulging, feminine, lovely, energy as well, and a bit being, the no boundaries, pleasures with no boundaries. So we have a little bit of both. Which side are you going to be on depends on your personal horoscope. Which of those will trigger you personally? Which of those influences are you going to feel more? You can find out this by checking your personal transits, which you see for a week ahead if you go to my personal transit calendar. And I vlogged here on mine. I'll show you here. I vlogged on the account, and this is the profile of my baby. So you see your transits here, and you can click on each one and read what it means. It's for free. I made it over 4 years. It's a lot of free information. So go and look. Currently, because it's still Thursday that I'm recording, the days are not unlocked till the 13th. Some of you have them unlocked if you've paid for the month ahead, but you always see 7 days ahead. 6, 7 days. So if you happen to have, check what transits are you going to have next week. So from the 6th, 7th till the 14th of April. If you don't see all when you enter now, go in 2-3 days, because every day adds 2-3 days more, a new day ahead, you know. So check what transits are you going to have, you personally, not what I'm talking till now. What I was talking was what's happening in the sky. But only if those trigger your personal horoscope are you going to feel them very strongly. And these trigger your personal horoscope very strongly. You'll see if they trigger it if you have transits of any of those planets. And you see here there is a legend at the bottom what each planet means, what color it is. You can read it and go and see, for example. So the planets you need to look out for, if there is the Sun, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, Venus, or Neptune transits. You know, these are the ones that we talked about. So if you have any of those, so look at him now, 7, 8, 9. He has Sun transits. He has the Sun opposition Jupiter, square Pluto. So he's definitely going to feel what I was talking about, the Sun square Saturn. So if you happen to see that you're going to have yellow transits, so the Sun transits are in yellow. So if that week you're going to have yellow transits, guys, you're going to so much feel the Saturn square Sun, and you very likely will be in the role of the Sun. We talked earlier what it means. Also, he's going to have Jupiter transit. So he's going to feel the Jupiter transit so powerfully as well, the positive one, the trine. And he's going to have a Pluto transit. So he's definitely going to feel the Sun square Pluto aspect, you know. But just having the Sun aspect that week, just the yellow transit if you have, you're going to feel the Sun Saturn, Sun Pluto, and Sun Jupiter transit. If you just have Pluto transit again, you're going to feel the Sun Pluto aspect, you know. So, and he also has Venus aspect. The Venus are in pink. So he's going to feel the Venus influence of Venus conjunct Neptune that I talked about, and square Jupiter as well. So this is how you figure out which aspects you're going to feel the most. And he also has, if you have Saturn aspect transit, he has Saturn transit, but it finishes on the 4th. So he's not going to catch it. But still, it's not far. He's going to feel also the Saturn transit that we talked about. You see how easy it is to see. So the planets that I talk about, Sun, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, if you happen to see that you're having such personal transits, the Saturn transits are in brown, the Pluto in dark red, the Sun, the Jupiter in orange, the Sun in yellow, if you have any of those colors, wow, you're feeling it, guys. And those changes, those triggers are happening so much. And you can also read the meaning of your personal transits to see, because some of the personal transits are easy. So if you're having an easy personal transit, it will definitely help the harder transits that we talked about that are happening. If you're having a hard one, well, then there is going to be more of a push for a change, and more of a okay, it's a bit more stressful situation. But again, the results will be great, because all planets are exalted on their own sign, almost all. And I really love that. And I don't know, I was thinking maybe to do each sign, but okay, I will do each sign. But I don't want to do that, because what I told you is valid for everyone, and people just jump to their sign after that, and they even, like, they tell me, oh, do yourself a favor and add the sorry, I never have time to add those, because I have 1.5 or 2 hours when the baby sleep. I cannot add tags as well. And thank you so much if you add the timestamps, guys. For people who don't have time to listen to the intro, I'm very appreciative. Please don't attack me that I don't put the timestamps, because honestly, I barely have time to have a shower even these days. So hopefully soon it won't be like that. And I also want to encourage you to listen at least to the intro always. So let's see with Aries what's going to happen. Well, Aries, you're going to feel a spur of new ideas. The sun is growing, and the moon is growing, but the sun is in your sign. You're pushing forward new beginnings of any sort. You're excited. You're on the stage there. Go for it. But of course, you're going to feel the Sun square Saturn. So the start of the week, everything that I talked about, that's some kind of push and pull with you and authority figures. And you're this time the one that wants to start new things. But you have to jump through hoops, or maybe work extra hard. There's some pressure from your work, or from authority figures, or from older people that you can clash with, maybe like a father figure or a boss figure. or if you're the boss yourself, you might see like you want to implement new creative ideas of some sort or new initiatives. You might meet some obstacles because of the Saturn, and you have to work to accommodate those rules and regulations and routines, and that Saturn requires usually an extra hard work. But then the end of the week is fantastic. 13th, 14th of April, the sun is, and you're gonna see the sun is square Pluto, so there might be some power struggles, especially in regards to career, in your worldly actions, with your goals and plans. But the end of the week finishes fantastic for you because Jupiter trines the sun. You receive support, crowning of your efforts. You find a solution to a problem. Some opportunity appears. You feel inspired. Any very important things, guys, do them if you can on Saturday, and especially on Sunday when the moon also will trine the sun and Jupiter. And that's my birthday on the 14th. Thank you. Thank you very much. And again, I love you, Aries. I love the passion that we have. That's the strength of Aries. And believe me, I never had this passion before I turned 30. For some reason, the sun unlocks later in life, for me at least. And the end of the week will be quite positive, guys. And also you have the ability to escape because Venus is in the 12th house, through some pleasant experiences, through some kind of private activities, private romantic experiences, bad pleasures. Venus in the 12th house exalted often gives bad pleasures, whatever they are. And Mars, our ruler, continues to be in Gemini, so a lot of communications are happening for Aries, a lot of social activity with colleagues, with associates, with friends. Your phone is ringing, you're on the internet, on Skype, you're focused there a lot. There is a lot of activity and initiatives in that direction. If you're a Taurus, well, Taurus, for you, what is happening? Venus, your planet that rules you, is going to join Neptune this week. Especially from the start of the whole week, Venus is with Neptune. So you, Taurus, might feel in a bit more lazier mood. Or imagine if you're Aries Sun and Taurus Moon, you feel both the Aries energy that I talked about and the Taurus. So, we're multi-leveled people. So few things can be happening simultaneously, and few moods. Ask me, I'm bipolar. My moods change 10 times a day. But anyway, I'm not bipolar, by the way. Just kidding. I shouldn't kid with such things. Maybe everyone is a little bit, the bipolar people are the most creative, and they're so connected. Actually, they're connected. The antennas are so open to the spiritual signals that they can't take it sometimes. The spiritual awakening is happening too fast. That's what often happens that's why they're bipolar. But coming back to Taurus, so if you have something Sun, Moon, or Aries, so coming back to Taurus, Venus conjunct Neptune this week, you might feel more in an escapist mode. You might feel like taking it easy. You still might have some responsibility because of the Sun square Saturn, but you are given more of the green light to maybe escape, to maybe enjoy yourself a bit more, especially in social situations, because Venus, the planet that rules you, Taurus, is conjunct Neptune in your 11th house. So social activities, or even escapist things through social media, maybe even some romantic development might happen, because Neptune is very romantic through internet or through your group of friends, or maybe some very pleasant, enjoyable experiences and creative experiences in a more social environment as well. And the 11th house where this is happening, where makes you not only socially more active, but it also is the house of gains. And Venus, your planet, is currently there, it's exalted. There's more chance for you to gain something. And there is more chance because Neptune joins there almost by magic for it to happen. And it's kind of, as if a fairy goddess somehow helped you in there. And you might be attracted more to more artistic, to more spiritual people, have such communications with such as well. And Venus, because you Taurus are so connected to the senses, and your planet Venus is joining Neptune, those of you who are artistic in nature will have some amazing inspirations this week. We'll have some amazing insights. And by the way, Venus after that will sextile Saturn. So those creative inspirations that come from Neptune. Neptune rules the highest, most refined vibrations of art. And not only will you have those imaginations in your head, but you can put them into something productive, because Venus sextiles Saturn in Capricorn. So you put it into action and you manifest it or materialize it. So some good creative ideas can get manifested or materialized for you. All right. So what else is happening? So that's very important for you guys. And also because Venus sextiles Saturn, you start a bit dreamy this week, but you end up much more throughout the week more serious, more stable. You end up more organized as well. But you start a bit more woo. All right. And if you're a Gemini, well, Mars is in your sign, Gemini, and Mars will continue to be there till May and part of May. But Mars is especially in Gemini in those, let me just see what degrees he's in Gemini, from 4 till 9-10 degrees in Gemini, which means those of you who are born from around the 26th to around the 31st or 1st of June, 26th of May to around the 1st of June, you're going to have Mars transit over your sun. Or if your ascendant or moon is in Taurus, from the degrees that I said, 4 till 9-10 degrees, then you, Gemini, are going to have a very active week. You might be a little bit stressed, even a little bit more intense, but you're pushed into action. You'll be there's some new initiatives that you're starting, physical activities. A way to release some of the stress is by, especially they can be things that are connected to your work, because Mars rules your 6th house, transiting now Gemini. So I'm talking for all Geminis, specifically those degrees and days that I gave. They can feel it more intensely this week, but some like a lot of extra hard activities that you have to do, because Mars is about activity and action and initiatives that are connected to your health, because Mars rules your 6th house. Maybe starting a work exercise routine, or maybe some pains and hurts that you're feeling, because Mars is inflammatory planet, rules the 6th house. It might activate some health condition currently that is quite acute and comes on suddenly, whether the throat, because it's in Gemini, the lung, the throat. Be careful for accidents on your hands, but generally Gemini is, connected to those organs, but just be careful more for accidents and things like that. But also you can get a lot done in regards to your work, starting new initiatives in regards to your work. And Mars also rules your 11th house, so you can start a lot of new initiatives in regards to social activities, in regards to socio-economic goals. So you have like a goal, or you want to be more gainful financially, and Mars gives you the action to initiate it, to get things moving and to act. But just be careful, because Mars is more accident prone generally. But there is a way to do it, like go on walks to kind of be a bit more active, go on walks, and you're very initiative. Fantastic time for new such beginnings. And of course, Jupiter is making a trine. The Sun is in your 11th house, making a trine to Jupiter towards the end of the week. So the start of the week, Jupiter makes square. The Sun makes square from your 11th house of friendships and social contacts with Saturn in your 8th house. So there might be some clash with friends, or not seeing eye to eye with colleagues or people in your environment, which is the 11th house. Some kind of power struggle that happens, or some pressure that is placed on you because of different values, but at the end of the week, there is some good support that comes to you from others, from a partner, or improvement of situation with friends, because Jupiter makes a trines to the Sun. The Sun is also the 11th house, is your goals. So again, there is strong focus towards fulfilling your goals. So at the start of the week, you might have to push harder in regards to certain goals, and there might be some obstacles, but at the end of the week, you receive help and support, especially by someone else, because Jupiter is in your 7th house, like a partner or an idea, someone that gives you advice, or collaboration that helps you, or even just like spending time with people, and that improves your mood, and making good contacts. Jupiter trines Sun in social houses, for you, Gemini, towards the end of the week. Guarantees that you might meet someone important that helps you. You can make some new contacts or friendships or relationships or business contacts of some sort that reach out larger amount of people, and that are kind of, if you're trying to reach more clients or larger social reach, you do the hard work at the start of the week, and at the end of the week you receive the rewards for that, and you're crowned with that. All right, so especially partnerships go very well, and anything like that, and audience, and being embraced and accepted by audience. Oh, cool. The lady I'm introducing to you is a Gemini rising, so I'm introducing her to you. She's doing the free webinar on how to receive a marriage proposal on the 14th of April. So let's see. If you're Cancers, the moon is growing, guys, and you're gonna feel like you're able to start new things because the moon rules you, and especially on the 7th and 8th, the moon that rules you is in your own sign, is in Taurus, so it's exalted, so you feel stronger and you feel more into power, so to speak, and then the moon towards the 11th and the 12th goes into your own sign, so you might feel a bit more emotional on the 11th and the 12th, Cancers, but you are this is what moves you to make something new, because for you, feelings and emotions move you towards new beginnings, and the moon is growing, so you can initiate new things. You'll be put on the spot. You'll be somehow more in the, when the moon shines on you, on Cancer, you're put on the spot. You feel more energized as well, but also more emotional, and your emotions put you in motion to especially important days for you, the 11th, the 12th, when the moon is in your sign. And of course, there will be some challenges. The start of the week, the sun from the 10th house for you makes a square with Saturn in the 7th house. There might be some tensions and clashes in regards to your career and the needs of your partnerships, or maybe a partner is demanding towards you, and that creates some, might be a personal partner, might be a client, might be a business partner. The 7th house rules the other people, or it might be your boyfriend or girlfriend, and there might be some clash or tension because of responsibilities that you have, or because of work, or because of there is or some dissatisfaction might happen, some dissatisfaction that you feel with partners, or some crisis that you have to overcome, or having to deal with other people that are more demanding, that put pressure on you. And it might push you, even because this is the conjunction of Saturn, Pluto in the south node, and the sun squares it, into some more serious change in regards to your relationships, to some more cardinal decisions, which might change your whole social status. The sun is in the 10th house. But otherwise, there is a bit more tension because of either clients or people you work with, or partners, marriage partners, and your work, some tensions at the start of the week. And they become so much better towards the end of the week, because the sun, there was some problems with authority figures, with career, with new beginnings there. You start receiving very good results, Cancers, towards the end of the week when Jupiter trines the sun. All right. And Venus is in your 9th house, conjunct Neptune. That can be a fantastic time for a travel, for get away somewhere, or for spending on some crash course, or learning, because the 9th house is about that, which maybe it's time to remind you that actually our course with Victor is, let me show you a little baby. She came. Little baby, Cancers. Maybe you like babies. Hello, little baby. Hey, that's a good sign here. Venus in, okay, a little stinky baby. So Venus in your 9th house can be a good time to study something now, when it's conjunct Neptune, to escape reality through reading higher literature or higher wisdom, or go on a travel or a trip of some sort. All right, so going to Leo. Leos, what is happening? The sun is you. So the transits of the sun are very important this week for you. And the sun is exalted, so currently you're full of energy. The moon is growing, good time to start new beginnings. And you know when, Leo, probably one of the best time for you this year to start anything important, to do anything important, is the 13th and the 14th. The end of the week, Saturday and Sunday. Why is that? And Monday, I would include. Because the moon, but Sunday in particular, the moon is going to be in your sign. It's going to shine a light on you. You'll be visible. You'll be in the spotlight. The sun that rules you is exalted in Aries, so you feel strong, you feel courageous, you feel inspired, and the sun is making trine to Jupiter in your 5th house of inspiration, and the moon on the 13th and 14th will make a trine both to the sun and to Jupiter from your sign. So I really hope you have something good planned for the end of the week, Leos, because it's going to be like a crowning glory. You're gonna have so much fun, you're gonna feel so inspired, you might get clarity, because the houses that are triggered for Leo are the dharmic houses. The dharma houses is what inspires you, what puts you on the right path in life. So you might receive some long wanted answers, divine answers to questions, to matters. What is my purpose? Where am I heading? Inspiration in regards to the next step, in regards to doors opening easy the end of the weekend, and you're acting with inspiration. Do something important then, guys. The week might start a bit harder though. I'm going reverse now. The week might start harder because the sun is square first Saturn and then Pluto towards Friday. So the start of the week, there is a bit more hard work for you to do. There is the need to overcome resistance. There is the need, maybe there are too many duties and responsibilities that you have to deal with, and obstacles. Saturn in the 6th house is duties, work, responsibilities, things that you have to perfect or correct or fix. And maybe some criticism that you receive, or maybe you yourself are very critical towards something that you're doing. And the sun, Saturn is making the square to the sun, your inspiration, your actions, yourself. So you might feel like you're being criticized, or that you're being made to slow down the start of the week, or to work harder, or to overcome a few hoops. And maybe there is a crash because you're inspired to act. The sun in the 9th house, new inspirations, new visions, and Saturn in the 6th house says, okay, you're focused on the big picture and you want to move ahead, but you're missing some details. You have to work on those details. 6th house, the house of Virgo, you have to be more perfectionist and kind of more anal and get those things done first. All right, so, but, and there might be some obstacles if you're trying to travel somewhere, and delays or something initially, but the end of the week everything is perfect. If you're trying to sort out something to do with university, with higher studies, with higher knowledge, or with travels, even if it starts with some complications the start of the week, the end of the week it's resolved, or you receive good results. If you're Virgo, what's happening for you? I think Mercury is going to make the start of the week sextile to Saturn. So for a lot of Virgos, they might have felt a little bit in the last month kind of out of it. If you're Virgo's ascendant, sun, or moon, because Mercury, your planet, has been in Pisces, guys, and it has been retrograde. It's turned direct now, so you're starting to gain more clarity, but it's still in Pisces, and it's still conjunct Neptune, and still kind of, you might be a bit foggy, a bit in la la land, in dreamland, but it's good. Maybe taking a rest. It was good if you took a rest as well. And Mercury is starting to move away from Neptune this week that we're talking about, the coming week. So you're gonna start feeling a bit more sober and a bit more clearer. And Mercury is making sextile the start of the week with Saturn, so definitely gives you sobering influence, and being able to see if you've made some omissions, to correct them, and to be more productive as well, and to be more clear-headed overall. But then Mercury towards the end of the week goes and squares Jupiter. So what can I say? Let me see which day exactly this is happening for you guys. Mercury 24 on the Friday, so the 11th, 12th, 13th, your planet, Mercury, that rules you, in the 7th house, squares Jupiter in the 4th house. Here it is. So if you're here, your 4th house is Jupiter, Mercury is in the 7th house. It's not a bad aspect, because Jupiter is not a bad planet, even the hard aspects there. So you might just feel a bit more indulgent. You might, for example, spend a bit more on relationships, 7th house. So spend a bit more on house matters, because Jupiter is about spending, or going overboard a bit. And you might indulge in activities connected to relationships. You might be a bit missing, again, clear-headedness when it comes to relationships, when it comes to matters regarding your home and family, or property, or furniture, or gardening. So try not to do too many serious things then, which require attention to detail, because you might miss, if it's like, if you're trying to sign a contract, for example, towards, you know, those days that I said, be more careful, because you might be missing details. So if you're trying to buy or sell property, you might be missing some details again. It doesn't mean don't do it. If you have to do it, do it. If you have to make some negotiations, but know that there might be things that are promised that are more than person can deliver, and they're not done malefically, they're not done to mislead you, those promises. Or you might be the one thinking that, oh yes, I can do that, and promising and taking on too much, because you're a bit overly optimistic with Mercury square Jupiter. You're a bit overly, you know, kind of, and Mercury rules your career as well, so it might involve career plans as well of some sort. Or you might promise to your family, yes, we'll do this and that, but you might be, it's like a little bit that it doesn't come according to expectations, what people promise to you, or what you promise and say to them, or in, you know, with others overall. But it's not something that is going to ruin your reputation or something. It's just be aware that there's possibility more for towards those days that I said, to omit details, and if possible, you know, get the advice of some kind of a you know, an independent figure, so they can see the fine print, or so they can see, and you yourself as a Virgo, you're naturally good at seeing the details. So if you keep this in mind, you can avoid some misunderstanding, let's say, or missing some details. Or for example, some plans that you have with your family, and your partner might, you know, might be some kind of, you know, misalignment there. Your partner might have certain plans, but you have certain other plans for your family, you know, something like that can happen. But don't forget that both Mercury and Jupiter are very, according to Gemini astrology, very manifesting planets when they aspect the mutable signs, and you are a mutable signs, and Gemini astrology, mutable signs aspect each other. That's a special astrology. So the ancient texts say when both Mercury and Jupiter are in mutable signs manifest powerfully. So you as a mutable sign, guys, I think that you can manifest very strongly. It activates relationships, home, career, and your personal life. So it continues to be a good time for things to happen in a positive way, despite, as I said, some omissions that you can see, or like some like misalignment of expectations or over expectations of some sort. But it's a positive mood. You still feel positive. You feel in a good mood, you know. And okay, let's see. And there are two benefics in your seventh house, guys. So people are helping you, and you're being very courteous with others. You know how to approach them. You're more likable. So I think it's quite a good time in communications, making contacts with others. And by the way, Mars is in your 10th house, so you're very proactive in regards to your career the whole of April and even part of May. I think you can get a lot of things done, a lot of new initiatives in regards to your career. And because you're charming there, and because Venus joins Neptune in your 7th house, you can kind of almost melt a person with the kind of words, with the with your, you know, with your sweetness towards attitude towards others. And also it can indicate that someone very sweet, honey-like, can be in your life and can sell you something, 7th house, or it can coax you towards doing something for them, or it can be just very nice company around you, people that you enjoy more of, that can also overpromise things, or can say compliments too much. All right, if you're Libra, Venus is the planet to look for, you guys, because it rules you. Venus is in your 6th house, and it's joined with Neptune there. So first of all, when Venus, the planet that rules you, joins Neptune, you can feel more dreamy, you can feel more idealistic, you can feel more willing to forgive, willing to, especially the days that this is happening. This is happening around, you know, the 9th, the 10th. Is it? Yes, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th of April, that you just might feel like, oh, I just want to escape. I want to take it easy. And that I just want to, you know, even let go of certain responsibilities, because it's in the 6th house, and you might even gloss over and omit certain duties and responsibilities, but you get away with it somehow. You might decide not to do certain tasks that you have to do, and to kind of, and because it's in the 6th house, you can maybe receive some help with work or something like that. But at the same time, definitely you feel more romantic, you feel more lovely, you feel more idealistic. You can even experience some more romantic love, and you yourself are very manipulative, I would say, but you can use it in a good way, because Neptune is a planet that can touch the heart. When it joins your planet, you can be like a chameleon. You feel what others want and need this week and those days, and you can just morph into what they desire, and you can influence their thoughts in a subtle way, and you can use that in a positive way, because the sixth house where it's happening is the house of problems. So if there is some problem or some issue and something is annoying you, you can manipulate a person into, or if a person is in a problem, you can help them come out of that unbalanced situation by using subtle, psychological, manipulative in a positive way influences, not by brute force. All right, and Venus then after that, towards the end of the week, or let's see which days, goes and makes a sextile with Saturn on Friday, so on the 12th and the 13th. So after this kind of more Bohemian feeling that you have, after take it easy and space cadet state, and quite spiritual though, if you're Venus that have spiritual interest, you might be quite, when you are the Neptune influence, the previous days that I talked about. But after that, you kind of get your head straight again. And if you had some inspirations, Neptune often gives us inspirations of some sort. Imagination is overactive and gives imaginative ideas, especially to fix problems, or in regards to your work, or in regards to finding some solutions. If you receive such kind of inspirations, then when Venus sextiles Saturn, Saturn is a stabilizing influence, to materialize, to crystallize. Sextile is a good aspect. So you'll be able to put those into action. You'll be able to be more productive those days, to be more business oriented. So more artistic the start of the week, those days that I mentioned, Venus conjunct Neptune, and more practical and down for solutions the second part, or Friday, those days. And not only that, but the sun is going to be in your seventh house, and it's going to square Saturn the start of the week. So there might be some tensions there, some responsibilities that come to you in regards to family, home, and that triggers some tensions with your partner, because the sun is in the seventh house of partnerships. Saturn is in the fifth house of family, parents, or something that has to be done around the house or home. And there is some problem you have to solve. There are extra duties and responsibilities. Shh, quiet, Mila. and then, but towards the end, and even if it puts some stress on your relationship, don't worry. Or your partner might be very busy, for example, in some way, and more kind of critical, more tense. But towards the end of the week, Jupiter trines the sun, and you're going to have a very social time, positive. You can have some good time, some social times. I hope you have something positive planned there in regards to either reaching clients, or reaching more audience, or social activities of any sort, because the Jupiter and the Sun make a trine in the social houses for you, Libra, which means good communications, reach that you're embraced by the public, with clients, interactions with others. So if there was some problem with your personal relationship, it gets solved due to good communications. Jupiter in the third house, so due to some short trip or little adventure that you go out on. And that's cool. That's my birthday, and my husband is Libra, so I hope he's taking me somewhere on my birthday when Jupiter trines the Sun on the 14th. No, he's not in the room. He didn't hear me. But yes, whatever tensions there were there, they're solved, especially in regards to relationships. Okay, you Scorpio. Scorpio, Mars, the planet that rules you, is in your 8th house. So you're dealing with matters regarding 8th house a lot this week, and the weeks after that, the whole of April. But particularly, you might be asked to put a lot of efforts and energy into sorting out taxes or insurances, or something connected to mutual resources or finances, because it's the 8th house. Your partner's resources, so some investments. You have to be initiative and proactive and take action there. Maybe do a lot of documents and stuff like that, because the sign is Virgo. And there is a possibility for some big breakthrough for you, Scorpios, because Eighth house, the house of sudden changes. Mars is you. Wherever Mars goes, there is some sudden changes that can happen there. And eighth house is, sorry, whenever Mars goes in the eighth house, sudden changes can happen. So if you want some psychological big change to happen, now might be a time. If you're working with a psychologist, if you're working with therapists, a big turnaround can happen. Also, you can be proactive and active in regards to finding new investment or resources, mutual resources of some sort as well, going after funds of some sort, or you can just be more focused on, you can be doing something behind the scenes, secretive. You might find yourself like behind doing a lot of actions that are not so visible to others, because the eighth house is the hidden house, and that's your natural energy, guys, anyway. But you can find yourself also that you are more willing to cut through bullshit now, and especially with your words, because this is Gemini. And you might sense you're becoming very intuitive when Mars is in your eighth house. You might sense if someone is doing something behind your back, or someone is doing something dodgy, or some secret. You sniff it out and you trust it now. Your planet is in the eighth house of secrets. You are already attuned to that energy, to secrets and stuff like that. But your intuition is very strong now. And not only that, eighth house is occult, astrology, psychology. Fantastic time for self-work, for self-healing, as they call it. Fantastic work, fantastic time to have a breakthrough in some healing, sudden breakthrough in healing, guys. And it might be very much even connected to you understanding something, finding out some information, Gemini. Doing some research which brings you on the other side of the bridge, some breakthrough that happens, or some secret information that you dig out that is important for you. On another level, this is, fantastic time to study astrology, to do some self-exploration, some psychological work. And Pluto is your other ruler, and Pluto is being very strongly activated this week. Don't forget that Pluto is currently conjunct the South Node, Scorpio, this week, next week, the whole of April and March. There's powerful releasing of past karma. Your other ruler is Pluto. Pluto is conjunct South Node. South Node is past karma. Some past karma is coming back to the surface now, either like memories, either in communications, or actual returning back for it to be released. Because the South Node is the tail of the dragon, and it's with your planet, with you. So, and Pluto usually holds on, just like Scorpio, because Pluto rules Scorpio, to pain and hurt for many years. I mean, anyone, and someone said, I forgot who said that, but an astrologer, a psychic astrologer, that no young soul is born under Scorpio rising in particular, because they're very deep souls. They're souls that have experienced a lot. I mean, it's not necessarily that they're good souls, but they're old souls, because they carry with them experiences of many lifetimes, and they carry the pain body of many lifetimes. And if you read the book New Earth from Eckhart Tolle, he talks about everyone carrying a pain body. And currently, it's a rare possibility and moment for you, Scorpios, to release that pain body. Imagine you're like a snake that takes away its skin, and the skin is the pain body. So the pain body that Pluto carries, you're Pluto, and Pluto is a planet that carries pain, buries it deep, and drags it with it like it's badge of honor. But that's what makes you deep, guys. All the pain that you've experienced, all the pain that it's very close to the surface of your subconscious from many lifetimes, and this lifetime as well. But now you can release some of this pain. So you no longer will be the Scorpion. You know that the higher sign and symbol of Scorpio is the eagle or the dove. Ancient times had two signs for Scorpio. It's the Scorpio, the unregenerated Scorpio, that is self-destructive. It can kill itself with its sting. It carries these burdens, this pain from many lifetimes. And the regenerated one is when you release this pain body, like you're having a powerful, rare possibility now to release this pain body, Scorpios. And they are and then they turn into a dove, like a bird, from a crawling, creepy crawling to a eagle, freedom, or dove. The dove is the symbol of the Holy Spirit. Scorpio people are the ones that have the highest ability to be initiated. If you're Scorpio sun, moon, or rising, this lifetime can be a lifetime of initiation, of shedding the skin from a reptile to a bird, of receiving the Holy Spirit or Christ consciousness or whatever it is, to the next level of consciousness. Now is one such period. And the other ruler is in the 8th house of transformations. 8th house, the house of apertures as well, of the chakras. So it's spinning those chakras, and something might happen, guys. It's not necessarily that all of a sudden you start seeing fairies and Jesus Christ comes down. Sorry, Jesus, for talking like that. But it's that you can shift your consciousness to a different perspective. So I think, and it's happening, this big release is happening in your 3rd house. Pluto conjunct the South Node. The 3rd house, the house of your thinking, guys. How you're thinking, and especially because Pluto has been in the 3rd house for many years for you Scorpios. You naturally have and Saturn is there, very retained. If your thought is kind of going loops, and Pluto is even more obsessive, so you can release some obsessive thought patterns now. On another level, Venus is joining Neptune in your 5th house. You can have some fun dating or romantic experiences that are pleasant. Venus rules your 7th house of relationships, so it can be a good time for date, for love. Anyway, Sagittarius, that's a long one. Sagittarius, what is happening is that your planet is, Mars is first in your 7th house, so very active for partnerships. You might be encountering a lot of very people currently, especially if you're Sagittarius that is born from 4 till 10 degrees. Sagittarius rising or Sagittarius moon or sun from 4 till 10 degrees Sagittarius, which means basically if you are born from around the 27th of November to around the 3rd of December, it can be a very active week for you guys. Might be challenged by others. Clients might provoke you. 7th house is other people, so partner, client, boyfriend, girlfriend. They might be more, especially with words, because it's Mercury. They might say words that hurt. They might say things that bite. They might be more willing to fight back. But this is your 7th house. So what's happening? You have this anger inside of you, and maybe you're triggering and attracting those activity, and you might be the one that is actually being more pushy with others, and that you might either project it or you might do it yourself with others, that you're more pushy or more active, or that you're, and I always advise, if Mars is in the 7th house, do something productive in a project together with a partner, or go do sports with your boyfriend, girlfriend, or have more sex, or otherwise you might fight. And also with clients, try to count till 3 before you answer. Some client comes and is like, for me, for example, when Mars transits my 7th house, I always get the angry clients coming. And usually even the most kindest people that are never angry, they get impatient. So you might feel that others are very impatient now. But you yourself are, because it's your 7th house. So it's projecting to you from others. They're pressing your buttons. So try to be more, Jupiter is in your sign. Take the higher ground. You're the one that is more noble currently. Try to look at them like, okay, they're throwing a tantrum. Let me be the wiser person here and the more forgiving one. But it's also time to take initiative with others. If you're in some kind of very competitive business, if you're some kind of very competitive work, you might be the one that is pushing to close a deal, that is more proactively going after getting clients and pursuing deals and stuff like that. All right, but very socially active, And another thing is that there might be some expenses or some expenses that come in regards the sun in the 5th house square Saturn, in regards to pleasures and fun activities at the start of the week, or because of some creative project or some project or that you're working on. 5th house is something that you're creating that needs more expenses, so you have to rethink it because of extra expenses that appear, but you find the solutions towards the end of the week. And the end of the week is very good for you, Sagittarius. I mean, the end of the week, the Sun and Jupiter are trine. The Sun rules your ninth house. You find support. It's if you want to do something important, Sagittarius, do it towards the end of the week. Fantastic time. Do it when Jupiter, your planet, trines the Sun in the fifth house. You can go on a great date then. You can have fun, go to a party. You can initiate some exciting project, or some creative project can go very well. You can be in the center stage. When the Sun is in the fifth house, you can shine more, you can entertain, you can be in the spotlight, romantically as well. And yeah, and Jupiter and inspiration comes more, and good time for travel and all those things, because the Sun rules your ninth house. All right, Capricorn. Capricorn, what is happening for you? Well, the start of the week and starts a little bit more frustrating, because your planet Saturn is getting squared by the Sun, and the Sun is enemy to Saturn. So you might feel like you're being challenged a little bit, like your authority is being challenged by some boastful or cocky or arrogant person, the Sun in Aries, by someone who thinks they're better than the dog's bollocks or whatever, who thinks they're top of the game. And someone who is kind of more masculine in energy, or more initiative, or it might be an aspect of yourself, within yourself, that's more cocky aspect, that is fighting this more initiative, freedom loving, let's do things in a different way, more creative, let's break the mold aspect of yourself, that is battling it with your old, with an aspect of yourself that is like, no, we'll do it the way it works, we've always done it this way, I've always done it this way. And something might be pushing you to innovate, and at the same time you are resisting that. So there is some stress happening, or there might be just some authority figure, or also the Sun is in your fourth house, something with the family that is happening, that is kind of putting some pressure on you, some responsibilities that are being triggered. And by the way, the Sun triggers this whole complex of Saturn conjunct the South Node and Pluto for you this week. So they can be, and it's with a square, so some action, some important action is taken to kind of make big breakthrough with the past and to start new things, and it can be like a breaking point now, something that puts the final straw, something that the Sun has an influence of initiative, initiative and action. The Sun has the influence also of agitator. The Sun agitated burns, so it burns you into action to finally start breaking old molds or start building new ones, because this is what this whole complex is here: abolish the old and rebuild. So some changes are happening, some big changes. They might feel frustrating, but eventually you can feel that this is the right thing, and then some hidden support comes to help you with that towards the end of the week. All right. Sorry. And so it's a pivotal time, actually, the whole April for all Capricorns, because the South Node is close to your planet, guys, to Saturn. Pluto is there. I mean, you're starting to dismantle your whole reality little by little, your whole identification with the past, with the pain body. As I said again, Pluto and Saturn indicate the pain body that you carry, and the South Node wants to release that pain body. And it wants you. It's a heavy process that is happening. It might feel like crushing process, but you're gonna feel like a new person. You're gonna feel like you've shed 20 pounds. You've shed 20 kilos, or you've shed 20 years. After that, you'll be like with a new skin, basically. And there is some pleasant experiences. Venus conjunct Neptune in the third house, guys. Some good communication, some pleasantries that happen, maybe a pleasant short trip that can happen. Take a trip somewhere while Venus is conjunct Neptune this week. And if you're planning anything, whether you're going to like for the weekend somewhere or for a few days, that can go well. And also third house is communications, information. That can be a way to escape reality, whether through internet, through Facebook, or to learn something, to practice some skill, to do some interest of yours. Third house rules all of those things. These give you a respite and release, and also to create some pleasant contacts and communications and associates. Third house is associates, and Venus is making good aspect to you guys, by the way. Oh yes, Saturn is receiving one good aspect from Venus right after Saturn is squared by the Sun. So first, it might start a bit frustrating, but then Venus towards Friday and Saturday and even Sunday is making sextile to your planet, to Saturn in your first house. So good social occasions. Venus is in the third house, pleasant company. If you want to go on a date, it's a good time. You're more agreeable, you're kind of more kinder, and people you communicate kinder, you express yourself kinder, and you can receive some pleasure from hobbies, third house, from interest, from some trip and things like that. All right, if you are Aquarius, let's see what's up for us, Aquarius. There are no planets there, but Saturn, our planet, is being activated twice this week. And the first time is square by the Sun at the start of the week. And actually, yes, it's first time Saturn is square by the Sun, Aquarius, and the Sun rules our seventh house. So there might be some tension between us and partners, some obstacle. Or seventh house is also business partners. So seventh house is clients that we deal with, or contracts or agreements, or negotiations that there's some hurdle, some obstacle to overcome, and maybe it's not exactly, we have to make some compromises or take some different actions, because the Sun is in cardinal sign Aries, to take a different approach, new approach, and there might be the need to work extra hard on certain responsibilities and duties. And of course Saturn is us, and Saturn squares the Sun, so we're kind of, there is some tension there, or maybe extra duties and responsibilities connected to clients, to partners, or the partner might have some extra duties and responsibility, and that creates some tension in us, some dissatisfaction. We might be the ones criticizing a partner, we might be the ones criticizing a client, or feeling dissatisfied with them, especially if they want to introduce something new or do things in a different way than we're used to, and we're like, and especially the communications might affect the communications, because the Sun is in the third house, and you might be feeling like you're seething, and you don't want to say certain things. Saturn is us, it's in the 12th house, it's hidden and squaring the Sun, and things that you haven't said or unsaid that you're feeling negative about, you might go and say it to another person, or they might escalate when Saturn squares the Sun, and you criticize someone, or even the partner frustrates you verbally in some way or something like that. And if you're having any trips the start of the week, just be a bit more careful. You might have to put more efforts there, but don't worry, because even if there are some complications in communications, towards the end of the week Jupiter trines the Sun in our third house, so it heals any problems with relationship. It gives us, and that's when my birthday is, on the 14th, when Jupiter trines the Sun. And so if it can heal a relationship, it can improve a relationship, give better communication, give more pleasant experience and more social experience with partner or with other people. So it's a good time to get socially active. And if you want to reach out large groups of people, the 3rd and the 11th house, where Jupiter and the Sun are trine for us at the end of the week, is social activity, clients. These are business houses, 3rd, 7th, 11th, where you're reaching larger audiences, you're communicating with others, you're presenting ideas, exchanging ideas. And the houses, the karma houses, the houses of desire. So something good that happens that we enjoy. It happens towards the end of the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. And by the way, on the 14th of April, we'll be celebrating my birthday, but with a free webinar on how to receive a marriage proposal by the best therapist, psychologist that I know. And she uses esoteric and occult means as well. She's my favorite, so join us on that free. I'll put a link on it on this Sunday when I announce this lady when you meet her. And so that will be very social time towards the end of the week. Join it so you can benefit from that, and make some new friendships and contacts. For Aquarius, the end of the week is fantastic for that, or business connections or whatever. All right, but it starts a bit more frustrated, with more efforts, with stuff like that. And don't forget, Aquarius, that Saturn, our planet that rules us, is conjunct the South Node April to the whole April and May as well. So we're gradually releasing a pain body. Saturn is misery, so is Pluto. South Node is to release. We're releasing some pain body or some old identity, like shedding it like a skin. It's in the 12th house of endings. Even if you're resisting, Often people under Saturn influence resist changes, and we're a fixed sign. It's happening. There is no way, and you're letting it go. And Venus and Mercury, Venus conjunct Neptune in the second house. You might be a bit like, you might spend more this week on things that really give you pleasure. You might be a bit more bohemian. You might have less limits in regards to how much you eat and drink as well, and you can overindulge a little bit, but you're enjoying that. And then, and you might be spending a bit more because Mercury towards the end of the week squares Jupiter in the 11th house. You might be spending more on anything to do with social activities, anything to do with some goals that you have, and stuff like that. Okay, so Pisces. All right, what is happening for you, Pisces? We have to check your planet, Jupiter. Well, Jupiter first receives a square by Mercury, and I'll tell you when. That's happening around the 11th, 12th, 13th. And Mercury rules your 7th house, Jupiter rules you, so there might be some, and because Jupiter is a benefic planet, it's some misalignment between you and the expectations you have from partners or clients, or in regards to some agreement or contract, or in regards to your partner. Maybe your partner promised something, they can't keep it, or you promise something, you can't. There's some misalignment there. Around those days, be careful when signing contracts or agreements, when promising things to others, or others promising you things, because they might be a bit too good to be true. You might be missing certain details, but at the same time, it's nothing that is going to create big drama. Maybe it can make you feel a little bit more, how do I say, missing the details, so to speak. But at the same time, it's, sorry, my mind is going a bit numb currently. What is it? Sorry. And Jupiter is in your 10th house. So especially if you're doing something in regards to your career, and Mercury is in the first house, be careful to pay attention to the details. Pay attention to, but again, this is Mercury and Jupiter in mutable signs activates the mutable signs for positive manifestation. That's an ancient rule from Gemini astrology, guys. So despite of some kind of misalignment or over expectations, honestly, the results are so good. The final results are so good, especially in regards to your career, because Jupiter triggers career, in regards to your personal initiatives, because the Mercury triggers the first house, in regards to relationships, because they aspect the 7th house, and in regards to matters concerning the home and family. But Mars is in your 4th house, Pisces, so you're very active with home and family. You might have to do something around the house, fix things, for example, the whole April and part of May. You might do some gardening, or you might, in worst case scenario, you might be fighting a little bit with family, but not this week yet. I don't think so. Mars is not activated by transit yet, by aspect. But definitely be more active with your family, and do some things around home to let go of energy. But at the same time, you're so charismatic this week, Pisces. Venus is in your sign. You look more beautiful than ever. You look more attractive than ever. You're like honey for flies. I'm not saying you're gonna attract shit flies, but you're just honey for. There is this charm of Venus that is exalted in Pisces. So honestly, if you want, and especially the start of when Venus from your sign makes a sextile to Saturn. When is that? This happening on the 12th and on the 13th of April. So Venus makes a sextile from your sign to Saturn. And Saturn is in your 11th house of benefactors, of friends, of following your goals and going after your goals. So you can be very magnetic to attract right people that can contribute or help you in some kind of a productive way, in a more practical way. If you want to do something of more practical nature, these days are very good as well. If you want to achieve some goal, again, I think it's a good alignment for you there. And what do we have more? Venus is conjunct Pisces. Of course, Neptune is you. So again, you see how you're getting this Venusian energy. You're attractive, so it's good time for matters concerning love. It's good time for, especially Venus can make you very charismatic, and Neptune, if you want to sell something. You're going to have the right subtle manipulative approach. I'm not saying in a bad way. You can use it in a bad way, but you definitely can pull at the strings of a person's soul this week with Venus conjunct Neptune. Neptune is you, and Venus, you're Aphrodite, is the seductress. So if you have any activities when you have to seduce someone, when you have to, you can even try and seduce your, in regards to your career, someone, and Neptune rules partners. So if you can get under the skin of people this week with the right words. Mercury is there in very subtle ways. Neptune makes you, great chameleons and actors. You can feel very empathic, and you can really feel into the skin of others. What are the needs of others? What exactly to say for them to fulfill their needs? Because people will respond to another when they feel another can help them answer their needs. This is the secret of marketing and everything. And that's how you can sell yourself, whether to a person, whether to an idea, by feeling what is their needs and offering them verbally and to you, and you're gonna attract people like that. Just be careful, because the start of the week, the sun in your second house is square Saturn. There might be some expenses, especially expenses that are connected on Monday and Tuesday, expenses that are connected to some project or goals or some social activities. And there might be a clash of values. Second house is your values, between you and friends as well. But towards the end of the week, the sun trines Jupiter. So even if there were some expenses or some financial obstacles you had to overcome the start of the week, then you receive support, you find a solution or idea, or a financial increase comes to you in some way. There we go. Thank you so much. And don't forget that me and Victor are making a webinar for 10 weeks on predictive techniques, classic techniques made easy. And it's $500, but till the 17th of April, we'll offer it for $299, and you can get the payment plan to pay it in 3 goes if you want. So that's a rare opportunity with fantastic teacher. Victor I'm learning so much astrology from him, guys. It's amazing. So hope to see you there. Don't forget that Terry is also offering promotions. I think 30% off or 40% on her Pluto South Node Saturn reading. And she would contact your angels and guardian angels for them to tell you how to go through that period and what's the best thing for you to do. And Ksenia still has $40 off her personal readings, personal natal chart readings as well. So thank you so much.